In the next 3 months, America could lose a whole wave of stores you've been using your entire life. This is not a rumor. The big chains are closing stores at the fastest pace in 20 years, with billions of dollars in debt and foot traffic plunging to record lows. If you're over 50, what's coming next will directly impact your daily life. Buying medicine will get harder, malls will be emptier, services will disappear, and prices will be unstable. Today, I'm going to show you the 10 biggest retail chains that are going to disappear in just a short time, along with numbers that are impossible to deny. And the chain in the number 3 spot will shock a lot of people because it was once seen as recession-proof. Watch closely, because this list could be talking about the very neighborhood where you live. 10 Big Lots. The biggest exodus in the history of U.S. discount chains. Big Lots used to be where Americans went when their wallets were empty, but their needs couldn't wait. A $200 sofa, a $12 sheet set, a $15 table lamp. But by 2025, this cheap and easy living icon is no longer standing firm. The discount chain that once stretched across 41 states is entering a breakup phase faster than any other discount retail model in the past 20 years. Financial crisis. Revenue in the most recent quarter dropped to $1.9 billion, down 10.2%. It lost $205 million in just 90 days, and the full year 2023 loss reached $387 million. Debt has hit $2.6 billion, a level no discount retailer can survive. This is not a rough patch. It's a straight, breakless slide downhill. The largest shutdown wave ever seen, Big Lots has filed for Chapter 11, kicking off a mass exodus. More than 200 stores have disappeared, and the target is over 300 stores, nearly 1/3 of the entire system. The remaining stores are exhausted. Empty shelves, shortened operating hours, non-stop clearance tags hanging like a cry for help. People living near these stores see it clearly. This is not a restructuring. This is a will. The betrayal of its core customers. Big Lots once survived thanks to middle-class families who chose this place because it offered real, cheap prices. But then, even they walked away. One viewer's comment summed up the tragedy. Big Lots used to be a discount store, but the last time I went, the discounted items were more expensive than new ones. They pushed themselves out of the discount market. When low-income customers no longer have enough money to buy cheap goods, this model cannot survive. Stores deteriorating from the inside out. Staffing cuts are so severe that one employee has to do everything. Shelves look like an abandoned warehouse. Many stores have lost their identity entirely, turning into nothing more than temporary liquidation lots. This image repeats in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida, Texas. Big Lots is no longer a retail chain, but a dying system. Failure in the online era. While e-commerce is the lifeline of American retail, Big Lots lets online sales account for less than 5% of its revenue. While Amazon, Walmart, and Target have optimized logistics with robots and AI, Big Lots still operates like it's 2008. And in the retail race, slow means dead. From debt, costs, and strategic mistakes to a middle-class customer base that can no longer keep up, every factor has merged into a downward spiral that cannot be reversed. And if the Big Lots near your home is empty, running out of inventory, or throwing out everything must-go sales, you are witnessing the final days of one of the largest discount chains in America. When Big Lots disappears, what vanishes is not just a store, but the last symbol of cheap America slowly going extinct. Where do you live? Update the situation in your area so everyone can stay informed. 9. Joann Fabrics. The dying symbol of creativity. Joann was once the place that lit up America's imagination, Fall-colored fabric, Christmas ribbons, embroidery thread, sewing needles, craft toys. From Ohio to California, generations grew up spending weekends taking their kids to Joann to pick a few yards of fabric and start a family-stamped project. But by 2025, the place that used to be a creative paradise is losing its pulse, and the end seems to be coming faster than anyone imagined. A brutal financial crisis. Joann is drowning in more than $1 billion of debt, while revenue has dropped for 3 straight years. Cash flow is so deeply negative that even the leadership had to admit, we can't maintain proper inventory. A craft chain with no money to buy new fabric. That's a clearer ending than any press release. Pressure from the giants. Joann's deadliest mistake didn't come from the pandemic or inflation. It came from being crushed by Walmart, Target, and Amazon. These 3 competitors sell the same products, but cheaper, with more variety, and with faster delivery, while Joann kept the same outdated store model for decades. Americans love crafts, but they don't love high prices and endless waiting times. And they abandoned Joann, group by group. The store system is falling apart. Nearly 800 stores, but as many as 30% could disappear in the next 12 months. In many places, Joann has become as gloomy as a warehouse. Dim yellow lighting, empty shelves, and outdated products still sitting there from 2021. Employees say many stores only stock enough items so it doesn't look embarrassingly empty. That's the sign of a chain that no longer has the strength to fight. A viewer's comment sums up the painful truth. I don't like shopping online. I want to touch the fabric before buying. It's sad to see stores like Joann disappear. But nostalgia can't save a model that has fallen a decade behind. Joann's future now has only 2 paths: sell itself or disappear from America's retail map. And when this 81-year-old symbol collapses, it won't just be the fall of a brand. It will be a warning to every retail chain still clinging to the past in the age of e-commerce. If you want to keep watching which chain will be the next victim, hit like and subscribe. The story of American retail is far from over, and you don't want to miss what comes next. 8. JCPenney. The 120-year-old giant entering its final twilight. There was a time when JCPenney was the heart of every mall in America. A 120-year-old brand, once with more than 100 stores, once the place where Americans bought their winter coats, their first good suit, or Christmas gifts wrapped in that signature red paper. But America in 2025 is no longer the America that helped JCPenney grow. Sales are down 7.8%, a small number, but a sign of a bottomless pit, because it's happening across a system that still spans more than 600 stores. Debt stands at $4.1 billion, so large that just one more quarter of decline could push the chain into insolvency. Online contributes less than 15% of revenue, while competitors moved ahead long ago. Target is stronger, Macy's is more optimized, and Amazon has nearly swallowed the entire middle-class segment. The most painful truth is this: customers are leaving JCPenney in 2 directions. Older customers, those who've been loyal for 40 years, are going elsewhere for cheaper options. Younger customers, Gen Z and millennials, simply don't care. They didn't grow up with JCPenney, and they have no reason to step into the store even once. And as America's malls slowly die, JCPenney, which depends almost entirely on mall traffic, has begun to fall freely. The wide aisles that used to be packed during the holidays are now so empty in many locations that footsteps echo like in a warehouse. The most painful part is this: the brand already went bankrupt once in 2020. And now, financial analysts are talking about the possibility of a second bankruptcy in 2025, something extremely rare in retail history. JCPenney didn't lose because of one mistake. It lost because of a series of shifts in the times and because it could no longer adapt in time. A 120-year-old giant, taking its final slow steps. I never thought a brand over 100 years old like JCPenney would end up like this. Unbelievable. What do you think? Can this chain survive a few more years? Comment so we can discuss. 7. Neiman Marcus. Even luxury is dying. There's a truth about America in 2025 that no one expected. Even wealthy people are afraid, and they're cutting back. And when the rich tighten their belts, the untouchable empires begin to crack layer by layer. Neiman Marcus, a name once seen as a passport into the world of high society, is now the biggest victim of this shift. Revenue has dropped 12%, but the scary part isn't the number, it's the context. This is a segment long considered recession-proof. And yet now, even $4,000 handbags or $6,000 coats are sitting on shelves for weeks. Foot traffic is down across the entire industry, and flagship stores that once glowed brightly now have afternoons that feel suffocatingly silent. Neiman Marcus emerged from restructuring hoping for a fresh start, but it still carries more than $1 billion in debt, a chain around its ankles that locks down every revival strategy. Worse, even as a luxury brand, its online sales account for only 30% of revenue, far too low in an era when high-end customers increasingly prefer to shop quietly, conveniently, and without stepping into a store. From more than 40 stores, Neiman Marcus is now down to 36. Every closure isn't just cost-cutting, it's like shutting another door on the golden age of American luxury. Once, this was where wealthy people came to be seen. Now, even the rich don't want to be seen as much anymore. Luxury is no longer a dream, it's becoming a burden. An expensive handbag is no longer a symbol of success. Sometimes it's a ticket to being judged in a time when Americans are struggling with every other cost of living. And Neiman Marcus, a brand built on the desire to be seen, is quietly disappearing in the very era when wealthy customers want to hide. They may not collapse overnight. Luxury rarely collapses quickly, but they are collapsing, slowly, steadily, painfully. And by the time people realize it, Neiman Marcus may exist only in memory. I honestly never thought luxury could fall this hard. If even Neiman Marcus can't hold on, what do you think will happen to smaller chains? Leave your thoughts. I want to hear your perspective. 6. Rite Aid, the first pharmacy chain to disappear completely. If Big Lots is dying and Neiman Marcus is sliding downhill, then Rite Aid is the only example that shows how fast a retail chain can vanish. Not in danger, not on the edge, but dead, completely. At the end of 2023, Rite Aid filed for Chapter 11, trying to salvage whatever was left after years of exhaustion. But no one can save a body that has rotted from the inside. $3.3 billion in debt, weak management systems, a series of strategic failures, and most importantly, over $1 billion in opioid lawsuits. A legal tsunami no pharmacy chain can survive. Stores that once lit up neighborhood corners are now nothing but empty shells. More than 400 stores shut down in the first year of restructuring. Closures so fast that in many communities, people simply woke up to find their regular pharmacy had disappeared overnight. To survive just a few more months, Rite Aid had to sell off assets at fire sale prices. Selling off, selling cheap, selling everything. CVS and Walgreens divided up what remained. A few good locations, some logistics units, a few distribution centers. But everything that truly defined Rite Aid, the people, the brand, the trust, nobody wanted to keep. Stepping into 2025, the cruelest thing has happened. The last remaining stores have also closed. No big announcement, no farewell message. Just an ordinary day. Then the metal shutter came down, and it never opened again. Rite Aid became the first major pharmacy chain in American history to disappear completely from the map. A collapse so fast that the entire retail industry is still stunned. The anchor point here is a chilling question. If one of America's 3 big pharmacy chains can vanish within just a few months, what happens if CVS or Walgreens hit their breaking point next? Rite Aid is not just a business failure. It is a reminder that, in the most chaotic economic period in modern America, no brand is safe. I'm honestly shocked that Rite Aid disappeared so quickly. Do you think this is just the beginning of a domino collapse in the pharmacy industry? Leave your thoughts. I want to hear your perspective. I-5, Foot Locker, Nike walked away, and the entire sneaker empire collapsed with it. There was a time when Foot Locker was the holy ground for American youth, where people lined up at 4 a.m. just to buy the newest pair of Jordans. But in 2025, everything fell apart so quickly that even the people who once worked there can't believe it. When Nike decided to sell directly to customers instead of through Foot Locker, it wasn't just a strategic shift, it was the killing blow. Nike once accounted for up to 70% of Foot Locker's premium sneaker revenue, and when the giant turned its back, Foot Locker lost both its heart and its lungs. Revenue dropped 10%, a $35 million loss in a single quarter. 400 stores will close before 2026. But Nike isn't the only problem. Malls are dying, and when malls die, Foot Locker, which lives off foot traffic, dies with them. Many stores in California, Ohio, and New York report customer declines of 35 to 50%, with some locations dropping so low, it's not even enough to justify turning on the lights. E-commerce is far too slow. Only 20% of revenue, while young people buy shoes on their phones. In the remaining stores, the scene is the same across America. Empty shoe shelves, employees staring at their phones, clearance signs hanging all year. No more cheers when a new sneaker shipment arrives. No more teenagers rushing in to try on the Air Max they'd been dreaming of for months. A 58-year-old employee said something that left everyone silent. Back then, Foot Locker was so crowded we had to call extra security. Now we see just a handful of people a day, and they don't buy anything. Foot Locker wasn't killed by one competitor. It was abandoned by an entire generation. Young people buy online, middle-aged shoppers are tightening their budgets, and older customers simply don't need sneakers anymore. Which state are you in? And is the Foot Locker near you still open? Leave a comment, because your story is the most accurate snapshot of America right now. 4. The Container Store. Empty containers, and an entire empire that's hollow inside. The Container Store was once the place Americans walked into to regain order in their lives. Neatly stacked plastic bins, optimized hanging racks, baskets to organize every corner of the home. But in 2025, the emptiest thing isn't the customer's house. It's the very company that once thrived on that desire for organization. Quarterly sales have plunged more than 20%. Annual revenue has fallen below $900 million, the lowest level in nearly a decade. Losses exceed $25 million. And the most painful blow, Americans no longer have money for home organization products. When rent, insurance, and medical costs rise month after month, no one is thinking about buying extra storage bins or kitchen drawer organizers. People are living with what they already have, not buying more to organize it. Meanwhile, Amazon ships faster, IKEA is cheaper, Target is more diverse, and all three crush the Container Store in price, logistics, and technology. Their online segment makes up less than 30%, a shocking number in an era where customers don't need to step into a store to buy anything at all. Walking through Container Store locations in Texas, Colorado, or Virginia, the scene is the same. Empty shelves, piles of clearance items, scattered employees. A brand once seen as the symbol of minimalism now looks like a museum of America's comfortable consumption era. The time when people still had the luxury to spend $40 on a nice-looking storage box. And as the company begins closing stores in large numbers to cut losses, the message is no longer optimize your living space. It's try to keep enough space to survive. People once believed the Container Store was recession-proof because everyone wants an organized home, but the truth is much harsher. When the economy weakens, people don't need more boxes. They need more money. What do you think? Can the Container Store escape this downward spiral? Or will it be the next chain to disappear from the American map? Leave a comment. Sometimes the story you see in real life is more accurate than any financial report. 3. Express. Fast fashion? No. This is fashion in decay. Express was once a symbol of American style. Clean, modern, affordable. But in 2025, the brand feels like an old-fashioned magazine left on a clearance shelf. Still there, but no one bothers to open it anymore. Express has filed for Chapter 11, officially entering its life support phase. Revenue is down to just $1.6 billion, a sharp fall from its glory days. Losses exceed $200 million, and that number is no longer an accident. It's a pattern. Online accounts for only 30% of revenue, far too low in an era when people buy clothes on their phones. Meanwhile, Shein, Zara, and H&M have captured the full attention of the younger generation. Faster, cheaper, trendier, like a whirlwind. And Express is slow, outdated, and lost in its own segment. Walk into an Express store today and you'll see a reality that's impossible to deny. Sparse racks, off-trend designs, and clearance signs hanging nearly all year. Staff numbers are down too, and the lively energy of the 2010s has been replaced by a long, heavy silence that feels like a warning. Younger shoppers, once the lifeblood of Express tattoo, have disappeared. Middle-aged shoppers are cutting back, and the malls Express depends on are dying. Express isn't collapsing because of a single shock. It's collapsing because it stood still for too long in an industry that changes every week. What do you think? Is the Express near you still open? Or is it already hanging an everything must go sign? 2. Kohl's. The American family giant, losing its soul. Kohl's was once the weekend paradise of America's middle-class families. Cheaper than Macy's, more variety than Walmart, warm enough for older shoppers, and convenient enough for the middle-aged. But going into 2024-2025, that picture collapsed so fast it's hard to believe. Sales are down 5.2%, 6 consecutive quarters of decline, profits plunging 50%, while the online segment still crawls below 30%. Far too slow in an era where Americans are shifting almost entirely to Amazon, Target, and online shopping. The most dangerous part, Kohl's has lost its identity. Not cheaper than Walmart, not as stylish as Target, not as upscale as Macy's, and not appealing enough for younger generations who have no reason to drive to Kohl's when they can simply open their phones and see every option cheaper, faster, and more convenient. Walking into a Kohl's today, the strongest feeling isn't a store in operation, but a store waiting to close. A wide but empty parking lot, overstocked shelves, checkout counters with only a few employees, and 70% off clearance signs hanging constantly, like an admission that this brand is living off its past. Kohl's isn't collapsing from a single crisis. It's dying slowly because it's stuck between every market segment and no longer gives anyone a reason to choose it over anybody else. Where you live, is your Kohl's still lively like before? Or do you see it fading away just like the aging malls surrounding it? Tell the truth in the comments. Sometimes your story reflects what's happening to the entire country. 1. AMC Theaters. The American entertainment icon is fading to black. AMC was once the heart of American entertainment culture. The place for weekend dates, family blockbuster nights, and the magical moment when children first discovered new worlds on a giant screen. But in 2025, that icon is fading faster than any other chain on this list. Debt has surpassed $4.5 billion. Revenue has fallen below $3.8 billion, and attendance has dropped so sharply that many theaters can't even fill 50% of their seats, even on weekends. When new movies hit theaters but appear on Disney Plus or Prime Video just weeks later, Americans, especially those aged 50 plus, no longer see a reason to pay $18 for a ticket, another $10 for popcorn, and sit next to strangers who might talk through the movie. Streaming isn't just competition, it has replaced the entire old movie-going habit. Walking into an AMC in 2025, the clearest feeling is emptiness. A quiet box office, self-check-in machines replacing staff, worn-out seats, and the smell of popcorn not strong enough to mask the decline. AMC's stock has lost 70% of its value. Over 50 theaters are preparing to close, and several states are reporting the lowest box office revenues since the 1980s. AMC tried to survive with meme stock hype, emergency stock sales, VIP recliner upgrades, and adding bars inside theaters. But all of it only bought time, not saved the dying model. The laughter in the auditorium, the applause when the movie ends, the moments when the entire room holds its breath. All of it is fading as entertainment shifts to living rooms, phones, and the 65-inch TVs hanging in every home. AMC didn't collapse because of bad management. AMC collapsed because an entire generation changed the way they live, watch, and experience stories. Where you live, is your nearest AMC still lit up? Or do you also see more empty seats than moviegoers? Share your thoughts. Sometimes a closing movie theater reveals more about America's future than you might think. The 10 chains above aren't just closing. They're signaling a shift in the entire economy. Every store closing sign isn't just a business failure, but a warning that American habits, middle-class wallets, and the culture of shopping itself are changing forever. An old era is fading. A new era, fewer stores, more online shopping, and more uncertainty is taking shape. What are you seeing where you live? Which stores have gone dark? Which ones are barely hanging on? Share below, because your story is the most accurate picture of America today.